All right, be quiet.
Hey everybody, welcome to Moog Live. Today we have a very special guest. He's a very dear friend of mine. I love him to death. He's going to be here talking about how to break into the insurance and restoration industry, but a few things of just regular housekeeping before we get started. So next week we will be on Monday and not Tuesday. So next week, Monday, same time, 9 o'clock. It'll be an hour-long session, so it will be Monday, April 15th, 9 to 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we will have a very special guest as well. RJ will be joining us again, and he has agreed to take your questions. So start writing down all the questions you want to ask him this week, and you can definitely ask those when he's live with us next week. And then after that, we'll be back to normal. So today we are joined here by Ethan. He is a Matterport employee, and he is a business development manager. He's from Maryland. He moved out here to join Matterport, and he is working in the insurance and restoration as well as facilities management and mortgage appraisal verticals. So he's building, of course, those areas, but he is definitely our expert on all things insurance and restoration, and he is going to help you today and tell you all about what you need to know and do if you want to expand your current business and move into the insurance and restoration industry. So without further ado, welcome Ethan.
Thank you for having me, Dee.
Yeah, all right, so Ethan, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you ended up here at Matterport, and what you do for us.
Yeah, so I've been living in California the past about 4 years. Just started at Matterport about 4 months ago. Before that, I was working with a group that helped international tech companies who were trying to come to California, figure out how to get investment and find customers in Silicon Valley. I was mostly working with virtual reality companies, augmented reality companies, companies who are building really cool sensors. I found my way over to Matterport. I had heard about them over the years, but just got really interested recently, seeing how awesome of a product they had and the success that they're having in a lot of different industries and verticals, and thought I would be able to contribute. And now here we are. I'm on the business development team here. It's a small team. It's a team of about, I'd say, 4 or 5 people. We work on taking this awesome camera that we have, this Pro 2 camera, and taking all the different technologies and the Cloud 3.0 platform that we just released, and figuring out where can we apply this thing, where are the problems that we can solve in different markets throughout the world, globally and here in the United States. And we figured out how to commercialize this system, and we talk to our customers, and we try to listen to them and figure out what are the issues that they're having with the current system, and where can we improve, what are new features we can do, how can we partner. It's a really exciting role. I really enjoy it. I really love it. I think we have an awesome team here. It's an awesome company. I get to work with awesome people like Dee also as well, so it's been a great ride so far, and I'm really excited to talk to some of you guys about what we're doing specifically in the insurance space and how Matterport is applied there.
Yeah, so if somebody has a current business and hasn't scanned yet for the insurance and restoration industry, how do they break into that? What do they need to do?
Yeah, we can just jump into it. The insurance industry can be a tough industry to break into because it requires a lot of specific expertise that a normal photographer might not have. You might be scanning very unique properties or unique homes that you're not used to. In the real estate business, I remember a few weeks ago we had a guy on here who was talking about scanning manholes and doing that for different cities, and I feel like that kind of is more in line with what people are doing in the restoration business, if not sometimes even dirtier and a little more extreme. And we have guys who go into houses that have completely burned down to the ground, and scan those properties or flood damaged houses. So things can be pretty gross and disgusting, but they still have to go in and they document the damage of that property. So it can be a tough industry to break into, require some expertise, but what I would say if you're really trying to understand kind of how it works is if you ever have damage to your own house, or if, say someone leaves the faucet on or something in your house and it overflows, and you call up these guys who come in to fix your house, start talking to them, start understanding how they work and how they're documenting and taking pictures of things. You can even start calling the different businesses in your area who are restoration contracting firms who come in to fix these damages, and try to understand kind of, what are their standards of work? Are they documenting things using regular cameras, or kind of what are the criteria, and then try to figure out from there how you can apply your services to their current workload. And we can talk a little bit about what that workflow is, but yeah, I think that's kind of the starting point, is really just kind of talking to some of the guys who are in the industry around you, because they're pretty accessible. At any given point, someone might have an emergency and you can call these guys up and they should be over to your house pretty soon if something's happening. So they're happy always to discuss if there's new improvements to the way that they can work, or if there's new technology out there that could help them do their job better. It's something that they might be open to discuss.
So let me see if I get this right. Go to your friend's house, flood their house, call a restoration company, follow them around. If they're drawing the sketch of the house on a piece of paper with a pencil and with a tape measure, you're good to go. I'm just kidding. Don't flood your friend's house.
Don't do that. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's key. So there's different players in this insurance industry. There's the actual insurers, but then there's the people that come out and actually fix whatever's damaged or wrong. Those are the companies that you need to target, the restoration companies. And typically they don't seem to adopt to technology very quickly. So if you see them and you reach out to them and they're actually really, I'm not kidding, with a tape measure and a piece of paper and a pencil, and they're trying to sketch a building based off of just that, then this is the perfect opportunity for you to walk in and say, look, I can automate all this. I can come in, I can scan this house, you can get floor plans, you can throw away your paper and your tape measure, and you can do this so much quicker, and they would love you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not to say there's not going to be challenges selling this to some of these guys. It's definitely, as Matterport has an incredible solution that can be applied to the restoration business. It can help make their business more efficient. It can be a cheaper solution to what they're currently using, and it really can help them. So it really can solve problems that they currently have. So that is definitely a great reason to try to sell this to restoration contracting firms. That's not to say it's going to be easy. These guys, like Dee said, sometimes they can be very resistant to change. They do things a certain way, and it's gonna be up to you to convince them that this is a new technology in the market. It can be kind of expensive, or it really offers a lot of value, and so that justifies the price. And it's up to you to market it and sell it to them. These guys also, they buy a lot of their own equipment. They buy a lot of equipment that they use to dry out the house or repair the house. And so they're used to buying equipment. So, oftentimes they might, maybe they're thinking, okay, well, why can't I buy my own Matterport camera? And that can be a barrier as well, too. And that's really up to you as a Matterport service provider or photographer to come in and say, hey, I have the expertise, I have the training, we've been doing this a while, and we can provide you an excellent value for this service. Use me as your resource to get started here, and then work from there. So
Yeah.
Nothing is easy trying to sell anything to anyone these days, but it's definitely possible. There's just going to be some challenges that are presented.
I agree. So I always tell people, add value. Make sure when you're walking into these companies, tell them, you can get your guy who's doing the restoration to do these scans, but maybe he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he's not an expert in scanning, photography, whatever. He wants to concentrate only on fixing the property, and tell them what it is you bring. Well, what makes you different, right, from them just buying their own camera. And I think that some companies don't want to have that hassle, and will hire you. Some companies won't. Just have some thick skin, go out there and start talking to people. And a lot of it is just educating them, because a lot of them don't even know about it. So with the insurance industry, what we do is we tell people that they should scan the house to get a floor plan, a bare minimum floor plan. You get You order your schematic floor plan from that, and in the insurance industry, what they do is the estimators will use this software package called Xactimate, and what they do is they create a 3D rendering of the actual building in Xactimate, and what you can do is from the floor plans that you can get from Matterport, you can put it in as an underlay. You set the scale by clicking on two ends of one of the measurements, and then you just trace through the walls, and it's so easy, like I can do it. And then you get that 3D rendering, right? And that's what they use to estimate how much paint do I need for this fix, how much drywall and stuff like that. So it's a really quick way of doing something that they've always done by hand, and they love that.
Yeah, absolutely. As Dee was saying, the previous way that insurance companies would come into a house and try to repair it and fix it, and their previous workflow was basically send a guy to the house, he gets paid to drive over to the house, he takes thousands of pictures of everything, he takes his tape measure out and he measures every single room in that house, floor to ceiling, every wall, every door, everything that's damaged, he measures with that, or maybe a laser measure if this guy is really up to date. After he's done doing that, he takes out his handy dandy notebook, or maybe he has an old kind of iPad application or an iPhone application where he starts actually drawing out the structure of the house, by hand. He says, okay, this room is 8 by 10 feet, the ceilings are 8 feet tall, it's connected to this room over here, and he draws that out physically, and then after he's done doing that, which can take him hours and hours to do, he goes back to his desk, he drives home, he takes all that data and information that he collected at that house, plugs it into another program on his computer. He has to upload those hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures that he has to download back onto his computer from whatever device he took those pictures from. So that's taking a long time, and there he starts building out a 3D model in this program that Dee mentioned called Xactimate, where he's basically creating a representation of the house digitally so that later on he can go in and determine how much he would estimate it would cost to repair that house using that 3D model. So very antiquated process. It's very time consuming. It's very distributed. There's different systems in place all across the board. There's not really one unified platform. There's not really one place that they can go to and view all their data and information. And that's why they love Matterport, is because we provide them, and you can provide them with one platform that has all their pictures, it has all their measurements, and it has a lot of potential to integrate with their tools already that they use, this Xactimate tool that we offer, and we can give them a lot of products that help offload the really time-intensive work that they're currently doing. And we do it for them automatically, 99% accuracy with this Pro 2 camera, and save them so much time and create so much efficiency that they really, I don't think I've talked to a single restoration owner who said this could be a bad idea for the insurance industry or this wouldn't work for us. I think everyone sees the value, but just like we talked about earlier, the barrier that we face also on our side is convincing them that, hey, this is a premium service. We provide the best possible service in the industry for documentation, and so there is a cost associated with that, but the value supersedes the cost at any point.
Yeah. So why don't you talk a little bit about this product that we have in beta currently called TrueSketch?
Yeah, TrueSketch is a really great product. We essentially take the Matterport 3D model and we take the data and information that we collect when you scan with the camera, and we convert that into a sketch that you can import into Xactimate and use to write your scope of damages. Instead of you having to create this sketch yourself and draw out this 3D model in this program that you're required to do as an insurance company, we just offload that entire process from you. We do all the work, and within 2 business days we can guarantee that we can give you back a 99% accurate sketch that you can import into Xactimate and then write your scope of damages and basically tell the insurance company how much damage happened and how much it's going to cost. So this product basically is replacing any manual work that you would have to do on your own in order to create this sketch. We just do it for you, and we can do that because we collect all the data from that Pro 2 camera.
Yeah. How many insurance companies use Xactimate?
Oh wow, I think Xactimate is almost the gold standard in the industry
Yeah.
for insurance. Whether or not they like the program, I think it's definitely a point of conversation that you can bring up. There'll be a lot of questions about why they use it and how it works, and yeah, I think a lot of times they talk about how it crashes their computer. It's definitely an old software program, but it's the gold standard. Almost every single company
Yes.
uses it.
Like 90%, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
high. So most insurance companies use Xactimate, and it, offering them a SKX file, which you can import directly into Xactimate through our TrueSketch beta program, is really popular right now. And I would say that a lot of the restoration companies are ordering that, and that's another thing, a product that you can offer to these companies as well. So,
And how you would pitch that and how you would kind of sell that to these companies is, hey, not only can I come in and document this house perfectly, unquestionably, in full 4K and give you that 3D walkthrough of the tour, but also I can give you a 99% accurate Xactimate sketch that will save you from having to sketch out this claim entirely. And once they hear this Xactimate, trigger word, it's something clicks and they understand, okay, not only is this taking really cool pictures, there's a lot of value here. This is providing us with a tool that's going to help with, all the hours that we spend manually sketching these things. We can have our guys doing other work and help process more claims and set our business up to scale. So they understand Xactimate, and in the moment that you tell them, hey, we can take away this whole process of having to sketch for you in Xactimate, their eyes open up and they really get it.
It's been wildly successful so far, yeah. It's a good program. So definitely check that out. There's information about that on our website, as well as information about the insurance and restoration industry and how to scan. We also have weekly classes that are taught by me. So there's a lot of information in those weekly classes that we run, and you can ask us questions as well. So after you're done basically scanning the minimum number of scans to get the outline of the house, what we tell people to do is make a copy, save that, set that aside, and then add more scans in every location where there's damage that you would normally have taken a picture of, right? And so you can add as many scans as you want, high, low, and you will get another model which you can upload, and from that model you'll be able to pull pictures of all the damage. So yeah, it's a really cool tool. All right, so what else do people need to know if they want to break into this industry?
Yeah, I would say that, first you have to be really adept at sharing these models and understanding kind of how the administrative capabilities work with Matterport. That's something really important here because there's a lot of compliance requirements for insurance companies. The way the flow works basically is a restoration contracting company will scan the house, they'll go in, they'll document the property, then they'll send that Matterport file over to the insurance carrier because that's the one who insures the house, that's the one who is going to pay you for the damages, that's the one who's actually in charge here, and you have to agree with them on the scope of the damages, so they need to see this documentation file at the end of the day. And the insurance companies, those big companies like USAA and Allstate and these big carriers, they have a lot of rules, they have a lot of regulations that they need to follow and to make sure that their business is compliant with all the government restrictions and laws that are happening. And so some of those laws and restrictions that are in place are that they might need to have a scan in place for or hosted or accessible for 10 years. And that's in case something happens down the road and they need to reference that file. And so you as a service provider or a photographer or whatever your business may be, if you're working in the insurance industry, you need to ensure that you're set up to be able to follow those compliance requirements so that when you get to the table for this discussion and someone asks you this question, well, what's the price if I need to host this for 10 years, then you're ready to do that. And so that's when, if you're not sure about that, then you can come to us, either on the sales team here or on the business development team and ask, how do we get a plan in place that will allow us to store these models for a long time? And we do have really cost-efficient solutions that allow you to do that as well. So I think it's really understanding kind of the compliance requirements in order to have a productive discussion as soon as you get there and make sure that if your Matterport account is set up in a certain way for real estate, that you're set up in a completely different and the proper way for the insurance business.
So how would somebody go about finding out all the compliance needs and helping set up their business to be so that they can offer this service? Do you want to maybe have another session of Facebook Live where we cover that, or do you want people to contact you directly? How do you want, how?
Yeah, I'd say first if you have just like general questions or there's kind of one-off questions, feel free to shoot me an email.
Okay.
Definitely open to having a discussion. We would love for more people to be breaking into the insurance industry and helping improve the workflow in the insurance business. That's a huge priority of us. So if you have questions about that, feel free to email me. My email is egoldsspiel@matterport.com. EGOLDSPIEL. I think you can see my name here at the bottom of the screen. At matterport.com. So feel free to email me there if you have any questions. If it's something that you think that there's a larger scale to this and you can really help out in the insurance business, then give us a call too, and maybe we can have a discussion and answer some of those questions. But I think, in our general approach here on the business development team, and I think this applies to anyone who's trying to break into a new industry as well, and I think a lot of our Matterport photographers and service providers are really innovative and entrepreneurial people, and they're really trying to figure out, also just like us on this team, how to take this camera and apply it somewhere and make money off of that. The best way and what we found is really just talking to the customer, is really just talking to these people and saying, what are your problems, what are the barriers that you have, and then kind of chiming in and saying, well, do you think that having a 4K 3D model walkthrough of this house would help your business? Do you think that having the ability to access this from any device, tablet, phone, computer, would create a more efficient workflow for you? Do you think that being able to walk through a job site remotely, walk through a damaged house but from your desk, would that be a more efficient way of doing business than having to send people back and forth to the job site to view this thing anytime they need to look at it? And start asking them those questions and really kind of understanding the customer's pain points, and from there you can start to provide value, because we have this incredible system that can actually do that, and we really believe that.
Yeah, it's great. All right, so there's another way I know that people use Matterport in the insurance industry, and that's not necessarily for these restoration companies, but mainly for homeowners, in documenting the state of the assets that they have within their house. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. It's a great use case and a really awesome service that you can provide to really any homeowner. One thing that you can pitch is hey, if you've already taken a scan of someone's house, or if you think there's a good opportunity to, a lot of people aren't properly insured for their house, for the property that they own. We've run into a lot of stories where someone goes into scan a damaged house, and then the insurance carrier gets it, or the broker gets it, and they see it and they say, oh well, this house has $1 million Renoir painting on the wall here, and that's not insured. We didn't include that in the policy, and if something happens to this house and that painting gets burned, then you're not going to get reimbursed. You're not going to get paid out for that painting that you have, and that's obviously a very high value to you. So thank you for sending us this Matterport scan. Let's ensure that if something catastrophic does happen, and we hope that it doesn't, but in the case that it does, we now have the data to show that you own this property, and we can insure it for what it's actually worth. So a Matterport scan can help out with not only after damage has occurred, but even prior to any damage, helping a policyholder have the peace of mind that with this Matterport scan, we provide all the documentation, all the proof that we need in order to insure our property that we own and get reimbursed for it later if something bad happens.
Yeah, so you get actually a rendering of all the assets that you have in your house, but not only that, the state that it's in. So there may be some discussion about, well, yeah, I know you had this painting, but it was damaged prior to the fire. And you can be like, no, I have this Matterport scan, look, it's in pristine condition. So I know that it's actually been used that way a few times. I've heard stories of that. So there's value to selling to homeowners, saying you really need this scan of your house. And you can even pull out all the assets so that they're visible during the scan. You can keep it private so that it's just for the homeowner, and they can set up one of the free accounts, and you can transfer the scan to them so they can keep it. There's just a world of possibilities.
Yeah, and that does also mean that there's some different types of scanning going on than you might be doing in the real estate business, where all the closets are closed, all the cabinets are closed and everything looks pristine and in great condition, and it's very different than that. So if you're doing an insurance scan, all the doors are going to be open, all the cabinets are going to be open, all the closets are going to be open. Everything is going to be viewable from this Matterport scan, so that later on you can go in and you have everything documented. So you're going to have a kind of a different workflow and practice when you're going in and scanning a house than you might be in the real estate business. But one of the advantages to that also is it can be a quicker process to scan an insurance house than a real estate house by some factor, because you don't necessarily need every scan to be placed in the every area to show every different thing. You really just need to document the pieces that you need to document. You need to make sure that you place the camera every 8 to 10 feet and get the measurements 99% accurate, and that's it. You don't need to showcase the really beautiful banisters of the house and how the kitchen is laid out. You just really need to get the data that you need to get and follow our guidelines as well, and then you can be in and out of that house pretty quickly.
Yeah. We actually cover a lot of this on what the differences are in scanning for insurance in the training class. So if you'd like to sign up for that, you can just shoot Ethan an email and he'll get you signed up for that class.
Yeah, Dee has enough work. You don't need to email Dee anymore.
Or you can ping me and I'll get you signed up. But I work out very closely with the insurance business development team because this is a brand new thing, and we do offer white glove service, which is me. For our customers. So yeah, so if you do break into that industry, you will be talking a lot with me.
Yeah, and Dee mentioned earlier that you can transfer one of these spaces to a free account. So with I think that's worth kind of going over and talking, because that's a really awesome feature that you can provide as a marketing and sales tool to a potential customer. Now you can set up a free account for a customer. If you go to buy.matterport.com and you click on the 360 camera image, you'll see that there's a free account there where someone can host one space privately. So they can have access to hosting one space themselves privately for free at no cost. So what that means now is that you can take a scan of a house, and if the person who you're scanning, it might be an insurance policy holder, whatever client is there and you're scanning their property, you can tell them, hey, if you want to keep this scan yourself for future use or to send to the insurance carrier, you want to be able to have this scan, you can do that. You can transfer it to them. Either they can create a new account on their own, or you can use their email and create an account for them. There's a lot of ways to do that, but basically you can transfer them a space and they can host it for free.
Free, absolutely free.
One space for free.
You can't make it public, but in this case you probably wouldn't want it to be public because you don't want everybody to see all the assets in your house. But you can download it to the iOS Showcase app. And so you can even have it offline. You can show it to your friends. You can also have, you can offer the service of, hey, I'll just come in and scan your house, even though you're not selling it, just so you have something to show your friends and family. Like, this is where I live. You want to walk through my house. Sell them that scan that you did. Have them set up a starter plan, and they can keep it just for themselves.
And if they want to set it public, they can do that, but there is a charge to be able to host public spaces. So they will have to be on one of our hosting plans. I think the lowest plan you can purchase is $10 a month, and that'll allow you to make those public. But they can't share that one space, but they can have access to it themselves, which is still of pretty high value to a customer, where previously they might not have been able to have the documentation of their own home. So this kind of provides them with, hey, if you want to have this, you can have it yourself. If you want it public, then we can host it for you, and we're happy to do that for you as a service that we can provide. We can still share this publicly, but you have the option to host it publicly. You have to pay for your own account. So maybe that's a good selling point. Is, hey, we can do this for you, and you can pay us whatever fee, or you can do it yourself and you can pay for yourself, and kind of see where the customer ends up. I see someone had a question here about sharing the video with insurance companies, or sharing the walkthrough with insurance companies. So it's same as how you would share that link with a real estate company. You're not really embedding it, but you can just send anyone this URL link to the file. You'll give them a view-only access to it, and they can walk through that house. So they'll accept that URL link. As long as anyone has an internet connection, you should be able to open up a Matterport space.
Yeah, so typically for insurance companies, they don't like the scans to be public, so you can just add them as collaborators to your account. and grant them access to it that way. But different insurance companies have sort of different rules, but that's probably the most common way that they look at scans. They're typically not made public. Be careful, because if you want to break into this industry, you have to have kind of an iron stomach. Some of the scenes that you'll go to are not pretty and may require some kind of personal protection equipment. And for me, when I have to fix them, it's like I can't eat dinner while I'm fixing them.
You can go on our gallery online in the insurance category. You can see some of these houses that are absolutely crazy. Like completely burned out. The insulation is everywhere, spilled throughout the house, and the ceiling is black and burned out. And there's just all the contents of the house are scattered everywhere. It's the complete opposite of a real estate scan. It's actually incredible.
It is.
And when these guys are scanning, I mean, a lot of them are wearing hazmat suits, maybe plastic booties that they might have to wear. They might have to wear smoke inhalation masks to prevent them from getting any smoke in their lungs, goggles sometimes. But what's really great is that, with all the protection on the suit, the camera still works. The camera can still go there, spin around. It isn't interfered with by anything in this property at all, and we can still get really high resolution, really high quality scans. We can still get the measurements of the ceilings, even if they're completely burned out and there's just boards and wooden planks there. The camera can still take enough information and data from that to be able to give you floor plans or those sketches that we talked about also too. So the camera still works. I feel like our customers really push this thing to the limit and test how far they can take this thing and to which environment it's going to break. And there are some places where the camera isn't so effective, like in the exterior in direct sunlight. But I think it's really impressive to me that these guys have taken these cameras into these flood damaged houses and these burned down houses and still have gotten back an incredibly high quality documentation of that house.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. So there's just so much to learn and so much to talk about, but unfortunately we run out of time. I did want to thank Ethan for joining us. If you guys want to hear more, we can definitely have him come back, because he just works right here. So anyway, don't forget, next week we will be on Monday instead of Tuesday. Monday from 9 to 10, because RJ has agreed to give us a whole hour. Come up with all the questions that you want to ask him, because I know that everybody has questions. And he has agreed to answer those. Also, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my coworker Adrian, who I absolutely adore and who lifts me up every time, every day, and just makes my life better. So thank you, Adrian. I love you. Anyway, and thank you to Adam.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you, Adam. He's sitting over here. He's the guy who sets up this whole Facebook Live thing every week after week. So he's really one of the stars we got at the company too.
Absolutely, we wouldn't be here without Adam. So shout out to Adam. And again, thank you everybody for spending the time with us. We hope you've actually learned something. Give us feedback. Let me know. You can contact Ethan at
egoldsspiel@matterport.com is my email.
All right, that's
EGOLDSPIEL@matterport.com.
All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you next Monday. Bye.